Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make this gorgeous mini tote. And to do that, you're going to need 2 strands of a weight 4 acrylic yarn. I'm using Big Twist. You're also going to need a 5mm hook and some stitch markers. Let's get started. I'm going to tie the 2 strands together in a knot just so that when I'm working with it, it doesn't get uneven. It just helps with that. Then I'm going to make a slip knot or a knot. And we're going to chain 18. Once you have your 18 stitches, into that last chain that you made, we're going to place a stitch marker. Just like that. And now our first stitch is going to be into the 4th chain right here. Okay, now into the 4th chain, we're going to do a double crochet. One double crochet. Then we're going to chain 2 and place 1 more double crochet into the same stitch. Just like that. Now we're going to place 13 double crochets into the next 13 stitches. So 1, 2, and I'll continue that for 13 double crochet, and I'll meet you when I'm done with that. I have my 13 double crochet done. Now into this last chain, we're going to place a double crochet, two chains, 1, 2, and then into the same stitch, we're going to place 3 double crochet into the same hole. So 1, 'Making sure that you have both strands on your hook. This is 2 double crochet. It's easier if you have 2 different colors, because when it's 2 of the same colors, it's easier to lose one of them. Just my experience. This is 3 double crochet. Then we're going to chain 2 and 1 more double crochet into the same stitch. And you can start working over that tail. Also, make sure when you're crocheting that you keep a pretty tight tension. This is what's going to help the shape of the bag, making sure you crochet tightly. Now into the next stitches, we're going to do 13 double crochet. So into the next stitch, 1 double crochet, and make sure you're working over that tail as much as you can and keeping a tight tension. I did my 13 double crochet. Now into this last stitch, this last space right here, we're going to place a double crochet right here. I'm going to work over the tail as long as I can and then cut it. So I'm going to still place it under and work over it. So a double crochet into this last space. 2 chains, and then a double crochet into the same space. Just like that. Now we're going to remove the stitch marker, and into that place where we took out the stitch marker, we're going to do a slip stitch, and then 3 chains, just like that. Now into your 3rd chain that you made, we're going to place the stitch marker. Just like that. Now into this space, this next stitch right here, not the same one we just worked in, but into this next space before the hole, we're going to place a double crochet. Just like that. Now we're at a corner hole. That's what I'm going to call it, a corner hole space right here. Into this space, we're going to place a double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then a puff stitch. I'm going to show you how to do a puff stitch. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over again, insert your hook, pull up another loop. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through those first sections you made until you have 2 loops left. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. That's a puff stitch. I'll show you that again in a second. So after that, you're going to chain 2. And then we're going to do another puff stitch. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. Yarn over again, insert your hook, pull up another loop. And you're going to yarn over and pull through those loops you just made. Not all of them, just the ones you just made. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops. Now we're going to put 1 more double crochet into the same corner space. And that's what we're going to do into each of the spaces on this row only. Now into the next space stitches, you kind of have to pull the puff stitches back to see the first stitch there because it kind of can be hidden. But we're going to do 15 double crochet. So starting here, this is your first stitch, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and I'll meet you when we do 15 double crochet. There we go, we have 15. Now we're at our second hole space. Into your hole space, you're going to do a double crochet. Then we're going to do a puff stitch. Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop. Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through that section you just made. Yarn over, pull through the last 2. Then you're going to chain 2 and do another puff stitch. So yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over again, insert, pull up another loop, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through those stitches until you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Then you're going to place another double crochet into the hole space. Just like that. Now on this edge here, we're going to place 3 double crochet. You might have to pull that stitch back to see that first stitch. 1, 2, 3. So 1 double crochet. Into the next stitch, 1 double crochet. Into the next, 1 double crochet. And now we're at our third hole space corner. So into that space, we're going to place a double crochet. and then a puff stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Chain 2, do another puff stitch. Like that. And you don't have to pull up the loops too high because you want to keep it pretty firm, a pretty tight tension. Just like that. And then one more double crochet into the corner. And now we're going to do 15 more double crochet, making sure not to miss that first stitch. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and I'll meet you when we have 15 double crochet. Here we go. Now into the last whole space, we're going to do a double crochet, a puff stitch, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, chain 2, and then another puff stitch. I think we got puff stitch by now, right? Just like that, and then one more double crochet into the same corner space. Just like that. Now into this last stitch that could kind of be hidden, kind of might have to pull it. We're going to do 1 double crochet. Just like that. There we go. Now we're going to remove the stitch marker. And into that space, we're going to place a slip stitch. And then chain 3. And then after you do that third chain, you're going to put your stitch marker into that third chain. Okay. Now into the next stitches, we're going to place 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Now our corners are going to be just a bit different. We're not going to do the double crochets. We're just going to do a puff stitch, 2 chains, and a puff stitch. So no double crochets at the beginning and the end anymore. So this one, we're just going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Might get a little tricky, but you can do it. And then yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. Then we're going to chain 2 and do another puff stitch. And this is what we're going to do into the corners moving forward. So no more double crochets into the corner now. Just puff stitch, 2 chains, and another puff stitch. Now into the next stitches, you might have to pull it back to see it. We're going to do 19 double crochet. So 1, 2, and I'll meet you when we have 19 double crochet. All right, we're at the next corner. So into the corners, we're going to do a puff stitch, here we go, 2 chains, and another puff stitch. Just like that. And now on the edge, we're going to do 7 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now into the next corner, we're going to do a puff stitch, two chains, and a puff stitch. Just like that. And then we're going to do 19 double crochet back down. Don't forget the first one. Sometimes it's hidden. So 1 double crochet, 2, and I'll meet you when we have 19 double crochet. There we go. Now into the corner, we're going to do a puff stitch, just like that, 2 chains, and a puff stitch. There we go. Now we have 3 stitches left. So we're going to do 3 double crochet. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. Just like that. Now we're going to remove the stitch marker. Place a slip stitch, and then chain 3. Chain 3, and then we're going to put the stitch marker into the 3rd chain that we made. Where'd it go? Okay, here it is. I swear the stitch marker be running. Okay, now to the next 3 stitches, we're going to place a double crochet. 1, 2, 3. 1 double crochet. 2 double crochet. And 3 double crochet. Now this row is going to be a little bit different as well. So now we're going to skip this stitch right here now. This puff stitch right here, this one, we're going to skip that stitch and we're going to go right into the hole space here. Okay, so we're going to always skip that. So now into the hole space, we're going to do a puff stitch. Two chains and another puff stitch. Just like that. Now we're going to skip that puff stitch chain down there again. We're going to skip that and we're going to go right into that second stitch with a double crochet, 1, and we're going to do 19. So this is 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and I'll meet you when we have 19 double crochet. There we go. I did the 19 double crochet. Now we're going to skip the next stitch, this puff stitch right here. We're going to skip that, and we're going to go straight into the hole space with a puff stitch, two chains, and another puff stitch. Just like that. Now we're going to skip that puff stitch chain right there. We're going to skip that, and into the second one we're going to do 7 double crochet. So skipping the puff stitch, and we're going to do 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just like that. And now skipping that puff stitch, skipping that one, going straight into the hole. We're going to do a puff stitch, chain 2, and another puff stitch. Just like that. And now again, we're going to skip that puff stitch, skip this one. Into that second stitch, we're going to do 19 double crochet back down. So 1, 2, and I'll meet you when we are done with the 19 double crochet. There we go. It's starting to curve, like have a little base. That's what we want. Then we're going to skip this stitch, the puff stitch, and we're going to go straight into the hole. We're going to do a puff, chain 2, and a puff. I like calling it a little puff. Just like that. Then we're going to skip your puff stitch straight into the next, and we're going to do 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3 double crochet. Just like that. And then you're going to remove the stitch marker. We're going to place a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to replace the stitch marker in the third chain. Now this, what we just did, this is what we're going to do for 4 more rows. And I'll explain it to you guys again. So you're going to do 4 more rows of 3 double crochet, skipping that puff stitch. So 1, 2, 3 double crochet, skipping the puff. Into the space here, you're going to do a puff stitch, 2 chains, and a puff stitch. Then you're going to skip the next puff stitch chain, and then you're going to do 19 double crochet. You're going to skip the chain with the puff, and then into the hole, you're going to do a puff stitch, 2 chains, and a puff stitch. Then you're going to do 7 double crochet, skipping another one. Into the hole, you're going to do your puff, 2 chains, and a puff. Skipping the next puff, and do 19 double crochet back down. And then skipping your puff. Into the hole, you're going to do a puff, 2 chains, and a puff. Then you're going to have 3 double crochet left. You're going to do that. You're going to do your slip stitch, 3 chains, replace your stitch marker, and then do it again. You're going to do that for 4 more rows, and then I'll meet you. Okay, I just came back because I felt bad that I left you guys. So I did 2 rows here, as you can see. I need to do 2 more. But I figured I'd show you guys what it starts to look like so that you can really see and visualize it. So yeah, you're just going to continue 2 more rows till you get to your 8th row. Okay. Now I have my 3rd row done. This is my last row that I'm doing, so I just decided to do it with you guys. So we're going to do it together. So we're going to insert into our stitch marker space. We're going to slip stitch. Oops, if I can get it through. Okay, slip stitch. Chain 3. Replace the stitch marker into the 3rd chain. And this is the last row of doing this. All right, into these 3 stitches, you're going to do 3 double crochet. So 1, see, I felt bad. I couldn't leave you guys hanging. So we're doing the last one together, the last row. This is 2 double crochet, 3, and now skipping the puff stitch chain here and in directly into this space in the corner, we're going to do a puff, just like that, 2 chains, and another puff. Just like that. And then moving right along, skipping the puff stitch space there, skipping this one into the 2nd. We're going to do the 19 double crochet back down. This is the 1st double crochet, the 2nd, and I'll meet you when we do 19. Here we are, 19 double crochet. Now we're going to skip our puff stitch, skip that, and straight into the hole. We're going to do a puff, 2 chains, and another puff. Just like that. And we're going to skip this next chain here with the puff and go into the 2nd. We're going to do 7 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right. So it's looking so cute. Skipping your puff stitch into the hole. We're going to do a puff, 2 chains, and another puff. skipping your next puff into the next stitch, we're going to do the 19 double crochet back down. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and I'll meet you when we have 19 double crochet. There we go, I have my 19. Now skipping our puff stitch into the hole, we're going to do a puff, two chains, and another puff. Just like that. Now skipping that next puff into these next 3 stitches, we're going to do 3 double crochet. 1 double crochet, 2, and 3. Just like that. This is how it looks. It's very structured because we're keeping a tight tension. If you don't keep a tension, it'll be looser. So this is me counting the rows. As you can see, 7, 8 rows. So this is our 8th row. This is how it looks. Now we're going to start a decrease row. Remove your stitch marker. We're going to place a slip stitch. And then we're going to chain 3 as normally. And then we're going to replace the stitch marker into the 3rd chain. And now into the next stitch, we're going to place a double crochet here. And then into the next 2 stitches, we're going to do a decrease. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops only. You'll have 2 loops left. Then you're going to yarn over, insert into the next stitch, pull up the loop. You'll have 4. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops again. You'll have 3 stitches left on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That's our decrease, and I'll show you that again. So you're going to skip the next puff again into the hole. We're going to do a puff as normal. That was the only thing we're doing different. This row is the decrease. Everything else is normal. 2 chains and a puff. Just like that. Then we're going to skip that puff stitch, skip that one, and then we're going to do 19 double crochet. So 1, 2, and I'll meet you when we have 19 double crochet. There we go. I have our 19 double crochet. Now we're going to skip the next puff stitch. Of course, skip this, and into the hole, we're going to do a puff. Two chains and another puff. Just like that. Now we're going to skip the next stitch, the puff stitch, and then we're going to do a double crochet into the second right here. 1 double crochet, and then we're going to do another decrease. I'm going to show you how to do that. So into the next 2 stitches, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through only 2, yarn over again and insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through just 2. You'll have 3 loops left. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That's the decrease. Then into the next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet. Just like that. Now, into the next 2 stitches again, we're going to do another decrease. So I'm going to show you how to do that again. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop. We'll have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through just 2 again. You'll have 3 loops left. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay? And then we're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch. Just like that. Then we're going to skip the puff stitch and into the hole. We're going to do a puff. Two chains and another puff. Just like that. Then we're going to skip that puff stitch into the next and do 19 double crochet. 1, 2 double crochet, and I'll meet you when we do the 19 double crochet. I did the 19. This is how it's looking. Marvelous. Then we're going to skip the puff stitch into the hole. We're going to do a puff. Two chains and a puff. Just like that. Then we're going to skip the puff stitch into the next stitch. Double crochet. And then we're going to do another decrease in these last 2 stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. You'll have 3. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert into the next stitch. You'll have 4. Yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 3. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Just like that. Then you're going to remove the stitch marker. We're going to place a slip stitch just like that. And we're going to chain 3 and replace our stitch marker. Now we have 2 stitches here that are next. Into these 2 stitches right here, we're going to do a decrease. So to do a decrease again, into these 2 stitches, we're going to yarn over. Make sure you can see where I'm inserting, because it's kind of hard to tell because we've been doing decreases, so it's a little messy, just a little. You can see it though. So right here, we're going to do a decrease. So we're going to insert, pull up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, and then into this next stitch right here, we're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 3, yarn over, pull through all 3, decrease. Then we're going to skip your puff into the hole. We're going to do a puff. Two chains and a puff. Then we're going to skip the puff, and then into these next 2 stitches here, we're going to do another decrease. These 2. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2. I'm sure you guys know how to do the decrease by now. Pull through all 3, decrease. Now we're going to put a double crochet into the next 15 stitches. So just 15. So this is 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and then I will meet you when we're done with the 15 double crochet. We did 15. Then we have these 2 stitches left. We're going to do a decrease. So we're going to do a decrease here. Pull through all 3, decrease. Then we're going to skip the puff stitch into the hole. We're going to do a puff. Two chains and another puff. Just like that. Then we're going to skip the puff stitch, and into these 2 stitches we're going to do another decrease. So we're doing another decrease. Just like that. And then into the next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet, just a regular double crochet. And then into the next 2 stitches, another decrease. These 2. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then you're going to skip your puff stitch into the hole. We're going to do a puff. Two chains and another puff. Just like that. Then we're going to skip the puff. Oops, a little piece of lint. Then we're going to skip the puff, and then we're going to do another decrease into the next stitches. So insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to do 15 double crochet till we have 2 stitches left. So we're going to do 1 double crochet, 2, and I'll meet you when we do the 15 double crochet. Did my 15 double crochet. Now into the next 2 stitches, we're going to do a decrease. So I'm sure we know how to do a decrease by now. Just like that. Skipping the puff stitch into the hole. We're going to do a puff. Sorry about the angle. It gets better. So into the hole, we're going to do a puff. I didn't realize it was this high till later. 2 chains and then a puff. Just like that. Then we're going to, there we go, skip the puff, and then into these last 2 stitches, we're going to do a decrease. We're doing a decrease. Just like that. And now we're almost done. Now this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to take out the stitch marker, and this time we're going to slip stitch, but instead of making 3 chains, we're only going to chain 1. So we're going to insert, place a slip stitch, and chain 1, because now we're going to be doing single crochet and no longer doing double crochet. Okay, so into the next stitch we're going to place a single crochet. Well, it's kind of right below, so it'll kind of look like the same stitch. So single crochet, and then this is where we're going to place the stitch marker after the single crochet. A little bit of a tongue twist. Then we're going to do 1 chain. Then we're going to skip the puff, and into the hole we're going to do a puff, two chains, and then another puff. Now after this, we're going to do 1 chain, yes. Then we're going to skip the puff, and then into the next stitches we're going to do 17 single crochet. No more double crochet. So we're going to do 17 single crochet into the next 17 stitches. I'm going to do that, and then I'll meet you when we have the 17 single crochet done. There we do it. I did my 17 single crochet. Now we're going to chain 1. Before we do our puffs, we're going to chain 1, skip our puff, and into the hole we're going to do a puff, two chains, and a puff. Now after this, we're going to do 1 chain, then we're going to skip the puff stitch, and then we're going to do 3 single crochet. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and 3. Then we're going to chain 1, skipping the puff and into the hole. We're going to do a puff, two chains, and a puff. Just like that. Then we're going to do 1 chain, skip the puff stitch, and then we're going to do 17 single crochet back down. So 1 single crochet, 2, and I'll meet you when I'm done with the 17 single crochet. All right, I'm done with that. Then we're going to chain 1, skip the puff and into the hole. We're going to do a puff, Make sure you have both strands. Chain 2, and then another puff. Just like that. Then we're going to chain 1, skip the puff, and then we have 1 stitch. We're going to place 1 single crochet into that last stitch. Just like that. You hear me flipping through my little book? This is how it looks so far. We're almost done. This is our last row before the handles. So now we're going to remove the stitch marker. Then we're going to place a slip stitch. And 1 chain. Now we're going to place 1 single crochet right here into the puff stitch, just for this last row. This is where we're going to place the stitch marker. This will be our last section, our last and first stitch. Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Then it's going to be technically 2 stitches that we're kind of skipping, but we're just going to go into the hole with a puff. It's like that, 2 chains and another puff. Just like that. Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then skipping these kind of technically 2 stitches here, because it's like a whole space and then a puff space. We're going to skip those 2, and we're going to go right into doing 17 single crochet. So basically you're skipping those 2 chains we've been making. We're going to skip that. We're going to skip the puff and the chain, and we're going to do 17 single crochet into the remaining stitches. I'll do that, and here we are. I did the 17. Now we're going to chain 2, and then skipping the little hole, skipping the puff stitch here. So we're skipping those 2 stitches, and into the hole space, we're going to place a puff, like that, 2 chains, and another puff. Just like that. Then we're gonna chain 2, skip those 2 stitches there, and then we're gonna do 3 single crochet. So 1 right here, 2, and 3. Just like that. Then we're going to chain 2, skipping those 2 stitches there into the hole. We're going to do a puff, two chains, and another puff. Just like that. Then we're going to chain 2, skipping those 2 stitches there, skipping those 2. Then we're going to do 17 single crochet. This is 1, 2, And I'll meet you when I'm done with the 17 single crochet. Here we go. Did my 17 single crochet. Then we're going to chain 2. Skipping those 2 stitches into the hole. We're going to do a puff. Two chains and another puff. Just like that. Then we're going to chain 2, skipping the 2 stitches, and then we're going to do our last stitch right here. We're going to do 1 single crochet. And that's pretty much it. Now we're just going to remove the stitch marker. I'm going to slip stitch into that stitch where the stitch marker was, like that. I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to cut the yarn. I'm going to pull that knot down, secure it. Then I'm going to weave in the ends, any ends that I may have. Just hide it in the bag. And now we're on to make the handle. I did one of the handles. This is what it'll look like. And I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really easy and really simple to do. So you're going to start in one of the holes. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to pick this left one here. Then you're going to grab your 2 strands again, and you're going to make a slip knot so we can attach it to the bag. Then we're going to insert our hook into the hole of the bag right here. And then I'm going to attach our yarn with a single crochet, just like this. Pull the yarn through. And then we're going to chain 1 just to get it started. There we go. Now we're going to do a puff stitch. So we're just going to insert, pull up a loop, insert, pull up a loop, a regular puff stitch like we've been doing. Pull through the 2, pull through that. Now we're not going to do 2 chains. We're just going to do another puff stitch immediately. So this is our second puff stitch. Then we're going to do 1 chain. Then we're going to pull up a loop, take out our hook, and we're going to insert our hook into the middle of the puffs right here. What we want to do is grab that loop we just pulled up and pull it through the middle of the puffs. Just like this. Really simple. Then you're going to chain 1. And we're just going to repeat that. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to do our puff. 1 puff. Just like we've been doing. 1 puff. And then no chains in between. We're just going to immediately do another puff. Just like that. And then after you do the 2 puffs, we're going to chain 1. Chain 1 and pull up a loop long enough so you can take it out without it coming loose. And then we're going to insert our hook through the middle of the puffs so that we can grab the loop from the back and pull it through the middle of the puffs, and then secure it with the chain 1. And we're just going to repeat that. We're going to repeat that for 12 of these puffs. Go ahead and enjoy that. And I'll meet you when we're done doing 12 of these puffs, and I'll show you how to attach it to the other side. All right, we're going to continue going, and it's going to kind of naturally curve on its own. We're going to do 12 of these. All right, I went ahead and I finished the 12 puffs. So I'm going to do the last one with you. Well, I did 11, so this will be my 12th puff. We're going to do it together. All right, this is our second puff. Chain 1, pull up a loop. We're going to go through the middle, pull that loop from the back. Oops. Oopsie. Let's put it back on the hook. There we go. Pull that through the middle and chain 1. Just like that. Now we're just going to grab the bag, the other end, and making sure it's not twisted or doing anything that it's not supposed to. We're going to attach it to the other hole as so. So before we make it all pretty, I'm just going to attach it with a single crochet. We're just going to go straight through the middle of the hole. And I think I'm just going to do a slip stitch. Yeah, we're going to do a slip stitch. This part really doesn't matter because we're going to cover it up. So we're just going to pull it through there. Then I'm going to insert my hook through the top puff, through the bottom hole, and do a slip stitch again. And you can do single crochet, slip stitch. Like I said, this part really doesn't make a huge difference because we're going to cover it up. So then I'm just going to chain 2, pull up a long enough loop so I can sew. I'm going to cut the yarn, pull it up, tie down that knot, so just so that it's secure. Then I'm going to grab my darting needle, that, and then I'm just going to place it through the bottom puff, so right through the middle of the puffs, and then through the top middle of the puffs. And we're just going to go over and under a few times, and we're just going to kind of imitate the look of the puff stitch, but we're just going to do it by the yarn needle manually. So we're just going to do this a few times. So through the middle of the top, and we're just going to keep doing this until it looks nice, until it looks neat how you want it. And then eventually, once you have enough going through the middle, you can start placing it through the sides so that it can look like the two different puff stitches that go opposite. So one on the left, one on the right. So we're just going to go through the sides of it here. So not directly through the middle anymore. And through the side this way. That. Just going to do it a few times until I feel like it looks good. And then I'm going to pull it through the side on this way and then through the loop on the side here, just so that it kind of fills in that gap. Yeah, I think I like the way that looks. Then I'm just going to tie my 2 strands together just to secure it. And then I'm going to weave in this end as well. I'm just going to hide it through. Even though we're going to crochet over this, you can also leave the bag as is. So we just want to make sure this part is neat. I'm going to cut off the excess, and this is how your bag looks at the end. You can leave it as is without fur, but I'm going to add fur for this video purposes. So I'm going to show you what I used for that. The yarn that I'm using for the fur in this bag is excess yarn that I used from my bigger tote size of this. This is the mini. I have a bigger one, which I use this big twist for the bigger tote that you see on the right. But that is no longer available. So they also have that Michaels. So that's available for you guys. So I think I'm going to use this leftover. I also have leftover yarn from my mini bag that I got from Shein, as you can see here. But I think I'm going to use the thicker one. I think I want to go for something a little bit different. But that's the option. You can literally crochet over the handles with whatever you want the texture to be. It can be more yarn for that type of look. It can be t-shirt yarn. But for this, I'm going to use this thick faux fur. But anything will do. So to do that, we're just going to literally single crochet over the puff stitches. So down all of them around here, and then back up the handles all the way around the whole bag. It's really simple. We're going to use the same hook, and then we're going to just insert the hook through the puffs, both puffs. We're going to make a little loop with our faux fur, and then we're just going to attach it with a single crochet. It might be a little tricky, but the yarn is forgiving. Just pull it through, kind of adjust it, because you will have a little tail in the beginning that you'll have to work over. So just take your time with it, be patient in the beginning, and it'll get easier as you go. So we're just gonna secure it with the single crochet, and then we're gonna keep moving down. So we're into the next puff stitch, which is here. It's like the edging of the bag. You're gonna insert our hook, and then working over the tail as well, we're going to do another single crochet. Pull through. And the perfect thing about this faux fur yarn is that as you work with it, you can't see the stitches or anything. So it really just looks like a fur edging. It's really nice. You don't have to do too many either because it's a thicker fur. If I was to use the skinnier fur, I'd probably have to go through each of these puff stitches 2 times instead of 1. So continuing along, working over the tail, we're just going to place 1 single crochet over each of these puff stitches along the sides of the bag. Take your time and do it. There's no rush. And at the end, you can kind of spread it out. If you see it's a little gap or something like that, it's like I'm telling you, it's so forgiving. You just move it along or spread it out and it'll be good. So continuing along, we're just going to place our hook through each of the puff stitches along the edge, working over the tail, and then pulling that yarn through and completing the single crochet. I'm going to continue to do this all the way, and then I'll show you what to do when we get to the handles. Although it's pretty much the same thing, you're just going to continue to single crochet over it, but I'll still show you guys how to do it. dokie. Making sure you're only going under those 2 puff stitches and not like any other part of the bag as well. Okay, I like to single crochet over the tail until I pretty much can't anymore. So that's what I'm gonna do. There we go, that's probably pretty much the last of it, which is right before the handle, which is good, okay? So here we are, it's probably be my last stitch before we get to crocheting over the handle. So that's how it'll look. Very nice. And now over the handle, we're literally just going to single crochet over the handle. So you're just going to insert, well, not insert, let me just do one more right here. I just feel like it needs one more right here. It probably didn't, but it makes me feel better. And then here we are, we're just going to go over the handle, single crochet over the handle, single crochet. Really simple. This is the easiest part. I'm going to continue that all the way along the handle. Going to continue that until we get to the other side. There we go. I completed the handle, and now we're just going to make our way back down the edging the same exact way we just did. So through this first stitch, the first puff stitch area here, we're going to do a single crochet. Yep. And then we're just going to continue all the way down. There we go. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going to continue this, and then I will meet you when I'm at kind of like the bottom. Okay, we're here at the bottom. Just going to complete these last few stitches. We're going to I like to kind of go over where the holes are, because there were kind of like a few holes in the beginning where we made the puff stitches because we made 2 chains in between them. So I like to crochet over that so that the bag no longer has holes. So that's why I don't really put a lining in my mini totes, because it doesn't need one. Nothing falls through the holes. There is no hole when you use the fur. But yeah. I'm going to continue. And you'll be able to see where you're putting your single crochet, because it's only where we did the puff stitches, not where we did the double crochet rows. So it kind of lines it out for you. It's already lined. All right, now we're back to the other side where the puff stitches are along the edge of the bag. So now we're just going to continue placing 1 single crochet over each of these puff stitches. Go. And just like that. I'll continue that, and then I'll meet you when we are closer to the handle, and we'll do that again. Okay, we're back at the last handle. We are almost done. I crocheted over the handle. She's so fluffy, so plush. Now we have our last side here that we have to do. I'm going to do that really quickly. Well, maybe not too quickly. I have to keep reminding myself that I don't have to have such a tight tension on this part because, you know, the whole bag is done with a tight tension. This part I have to remember to be a little easy. So that's something to keep in mind as well. All right, completing these last few stitches. Here we are. Remember, I like to go over the holes, kind of sew those hole closed or crochet those holes closed. There we go. My last stitch here. Kind of have to hold the inside so I know where I'm going. There we go. All right. And then I'm just going to kind of go into this first stitch, fill around because you're not going to see it. Then I'm just going to place a slip stitch right there. You can't really see, but we did the slip stitch. Then I'm just going to secure it with 2 chains. And then I'm just going to cut this yarn. And then I'm going to weave in this end. I'm just going to use a big darning needle and hide the tail and like the inside and cut it. And then she's all done. Look how beautiful. Imagine gifting this to someone. And it's really fast to make. You can make it in one day, just a few hours. And it's the perfect gift. Happy crocheting!